Story time of how my best friend got so weirdly obsessed with me that she even plotted to kill my boyfriend. So at the time, me and this girl, let's just call her Olivia, had only been friends for about 2 years. I mean, we really did everything together. We were with each other 24/7, and I mean, we were pretty good friends. But the only thing about our friendship is she did not like when I had other friends. I mean, she didn't have any other friends herself, but literally she would joke around about strangling my other friends because she didn't like when I gave my attention to anyone else. But honestly, I just thought of it as a joke. And then I started dating this guy, let's just name him Jacob. He was probably the sweetest guy I had ever met, and he was a real simp for me. So we started dating and about 4 or 5 months go by, and he started getting these texts from a random number. And it would always be cringy things like leave her or you die, get away from her, and like stupid cringy threats. Then one night, me and him were just hanging out. Then he gets a text with his exact address saying he had till tonight to leave me, or he wouldn't see another day. Then we hear a knock at the door. I'm running out of time, like for part 2. Part 2 of how my best friend got so weirdly obsessed with me that she plotted to kill my boyfriend. So continuing on with the story, we heard a knock at the door and it ended up being her. And she said, "Oh, I'm just coming by to check on you and make sure you're okay." Mind you, we were at his house. And he looks at me like, what is she doing here? So I asked her to leave, and then she ends up getting so mad at me just because I asked her to give us alone time. So the night goes on, and then when I get home, she's in my room. At this time, my whole entire family was out of town, and I was the only one home. So I was like, hey. It was literally just like a normal night, and then I go to shower, and when I get back out of the shower, she's gone. And then my boyfriend calls me, and he goes, "Why is Maddie here?" She had like this black mask on, but she's stupid enough to not realize that we know it's her. And I mean, we're being real here. She was my best friend at the time, so of course he's not going to call the police on her. But she had a knife in her hand, and he opens the door and he like pins her against the wall and then calls 911, I guess. And then to sum it up, when they get there, she tells them everything that she was going to do.
The way I found out my boyfriend is cheating is actually by what he said in his sleep. So we were laying in bed, and in his sleep, he said a girl's first and last name. And usually when people are sleep talking, you know, it's hard to make out or it just doesn't really make sense. No, this was clear as day, straight out of a movie. So I get out of bed and I look up this girl on Facebook, and I notice that she's married and she has kids, so I don't really think too much of it. And when he wakes up in the morning, I ask him about her, and he was like, "Oh, it's just some girl I went to high school with." But I wasn't fully convinced, so I messaged the girl and I was like, "Hey, I'm so-and-so's girlfriend. I was just wondering if you guys have talked recently." And the way she responded is what put me even more on edge. She was like, "You need to mind your own business. You're just his crazy ex-girlfriend." And I'm like, "Excuse me, I am not his ex-girlfriend. He's living in my house. I am paying for his phone bill. He drives my car to work. He's very much my boyfriend." Well, then I get this message from a completely different girl. So at this point, I decide to do a little bit more digging. Since it's only my name on the phone plan, I'm able to view all of the phone calls from all of the phones on that line. So I start looking through his phone calls, and I notice a 45-minute phone call with a number I didn't recognize. So when I asked him about this, he was like, "I've never even made a 45-minute phone call. The phone company must have made a mistake." Yeah, okay. At this point, this is all the proof I need, so I'm like, "You need to leave. You need to get out." And he's giving me this huge sob story about how he has nowhere to go. Honestly, not my problem. You should have thought about that before. So a couple of days later, I'm texting him and I'm asking for the phone back. He told me that he already talked to a cop about it and he's not giving me my phone back because there's nothing I can do. So there may have not been anything I could do to get it back, but I decided to report the phone stolen. So at least that way he couldn't use it either. And he had actually left his car at my house. So he told me when he came to pick up the car, he would also give me the phone. I'm like, okay, perfect. That works for me. It's the day after he's supposed to pick up the car and I haven't heard from him. So I'm trying to reach out to him and I am blocked on absolutely everything. So what do? Yep, I tow his shit.